Hey, everybody. Surprise, surprise. I am here again today. Y'all gonna get sick of me around here, aren't ya? Welcome into My Sweet Home Living. My name's Tracey Campbell. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a regular around here, I'm so happy to see you. We are going to do something a little bit out of the norm today. Something I've been doing that I've done several times before, but not on a live necessarily, but oh, I don't know. Y'all just come on in here. We'll have fun together. And if you don't like what you see today, we'll still chat about it today. How about that? I don't know what my phone is doing. There we go. I think I was hitting the volume button on the side accidentally with my phone holder. I'm going to make sure that we are shared over into the Craft on the Clock group because that's where you can find live craft shows every 45 minutes over there, morning till night, Monday through Friday. It's the place for live crafting. Come on in here. Hey, Miss Jane. Hey, Miss Mary. I'm having to use my computer to share us over because my iPad's dead. My other phone is in the other part of the house. This was like a little spontaneous impromptu live. You can see I got all kinds of junk in the house today. Come on in here. I'm not going to have a second device for comments, so hopefully we're working. Thank you, Miss Sheila. I got my hair did yesterday. Finally, it was long overdue, long overdue. I got about 5 inches cut off of it. Can y'all believe that? 5 inches. Y'all probably didn't even realize how long it was because I keep it pulled up all the time. It's so hot. It's so hot. It takes me so long to dry my hair. My hair is so thick. I have enough hair for probably 3 people. So it, it's just, it takes too much effort to wash, dry, fix, and then repeat it because now I'm doing so much stuff outside. I have to wash it and fix it too often. Hey, Miss Christina, how are y'all? Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see y'all. I have something a little bit different today. It was something I was going to work on with you all the last 2 times I've been live, but I've been chatty Cathy and didn't get to it. Thank you, Miss Mary. Your cake looks absolutely amazing. I hope you love it. I hope you love it. We are doing a little bit of something today. So you know this crock back here that we made the little bunting banner for? I need to add a light element. I want to add a little element of light to it. So I'm going to do that today. And in the process, I'm going to show you something. You will have seen this light fixture before. You've seen it before. I think it was last summer. I bought a pair of these on Marketplace. However, they did not look like this last year. They looked very outdated and very, I don't know what you want to say, just that golden, almost like mustardy brown tone, wood tones, and it just didn't quite work. It wasn't the right kind of tones. So I gave it a whole redo. I've painted it, distressed it, and even had to redo the candle sleeves, which if you ever have to redo the candle sleeves, I want to show you how to do those today because I'm going to use the same technique on the little light that I'm going to create for my, what am I trying to say? The little stoneware crock that I have back there. We're going to add a tall candle in the middle of that. Sort of like a little stoneware crock candle lamp. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But when I bought these on Marketplace. The candle sleeves were in horrible condition. I had to completely redo them all. And you can buy these new, but they're expensive. They're more like maybe $6 to $8 a piece. This one had 6 lights. That would have quickly added up because I had 2 light fixtures the same. So I'm going to show you how to redo these. So if you find one of these lights on Marketplace, you'll know how to do them for relatively inexpensive. And they look just as good, if not better, honestly, than probably what was on it originally. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss Mary, how are y'all? So I wanted to bring this in here to show y'all. This was hanging in my dining room until I found my new my new to me chandelier. And so now this one doesn't quite have a home. And I may be putting this one on Marketplace. I still have the other one that's just like this. It's hanging in my entryway, in my foyer. And it works perfect with my vintage desk that's up there. So I just don't have a spot for that one yet. And that breaks my heart. I don't want to get rid of it because I love it, but I may have to. Hey, Miss Kimmy, different time of the day today. I know. So here's what we're going to do. I forgot to grab my little paint brushes. Let me grab my paint brushes and I'll show you what we're going to do here. I think I'll just grab the little sponge brush. That's really, I don't know. I'll grab a couple little things and we'll see if we end up using them today. Okay. I'm using something you've all seen and you all probably have in your kitchen. Hey, Miss Melanie, thank you so much. Well, it's kind of like, when you get your hair cut, you kind of have to retrain it. So I don't quite know how it doesn't quite know how it wants to curl and lay just yet. So we're still kind of in the experimenting phase, but cut 5 inches off of it. And it's definitely a lot lighter. Thank goodness. Hanging out. That's right. Hang out with me in the craft studio today. These are, y'all know what these are, right? I know what these are. These are cardboard rolls. Only these are not like the paper towel and toilet paper rolls. These are like hard, heavy duty cardboard rolls. These are what comes off of like aluminum foil, plastic wrap, parchment paper, those kinds of rolls. That's what these are. Now, some of them you get when you unpeel, of course, everything is sticking to this one because it's still got a little bit of glue on it. Some of these you'll get still has the glue on them. All you got to do most of the time is just kind of rub your fingers on over top the glue and look what it does. It just rolls right up. See how it just kind of peels right up? And that's what I have done. So they come in some of them are longer, some of them come in different different diameter, different widths. And the one I wanted to use was this one, and it had glue all over it, just like this one does. This one's pretty tall, and I could cut it down if I wanted to, but this one just happened to be just the right size. So I already kind of gave it a base coat, sort of like it's just a dark brownish, blackish base coat. It's really ugly right now. It's really ugly right now. We're going to fix it up. I'm not even going to worry about painting the bottom because this is just kind of like where I'm going to hold it at, okay? The pears are sold out. The pears are gone. They are sold out. But if you want to get on the waiting list, well, not a waiting list necessarily, it's just notifications list. Honestly, it's just a new email list that I've come up with so I can reach everybody. I have the broadcast channel, the Telegram channel, and some of you were still saying that you weren't, able to get one of those before they sold out or didn't see it or whatever. So I'm coming up with one more route of communication is an email. And if you want that email link, I posted it on my page, my Sweet Home Living page this morning. I still posted it in my YouTube community so that you can sign up on that email list so you can get email alerts. So, but you got to check them. And sometimes those emails may come to your junk or spam folder. So you kind of got to look for them sometimes, okay? There's going to be a new kit coming out soon. Okay, so all I've done is given it a base coat. The next coat that I'm going to put on here, actually, I'm not going to put the paint on yet. I'm going to do something else, and I'll show you here in a second. This is the color that I loved using. I think it's Antique White by Apple Barrel. Just cheap paint, craft paint. It's like a real warm vanilla color. So just for comparison, here is the Waverly plaster. This is the Antique White. It's almost like a butter color, a little bit of a buttery vanilla color. It's a little bit warmer tones. Okay, so I'm going to get this ready, but before I do that, I have my hot glue. Hopefully it's hot and ready. We are going to make some drips along the top because, real candles have drips at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to make just a couple of beads. I'm not going to be able to pull this close enough to where y'all can see it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tilt my camera just a little bit and I am going to zoom in. Maybe. Here, we're tilting here. There we go. We're working with what we got here. I need my an extension cord in here. So this is the top of my candlestick that I'm going to be using. I'm going to start my drips sort of like, well, maybe. I said I'm going to start it. My hot glue is kind of, let me get, there we go. It's going now. We're going to start with a drip and we're just going to kind of squeeze and wiggle it up. It's going to look just something like that right there. I get the glue drops right over there. That's what we're working with. That's the glue drip that we have. Now, if you want to go a little bit thinner, what I've also done is I've used a fine tip super glue and made those drips. On those candle sleeves on the light fixture that I just showed you a minute ago, they were really fine tipped. Let me zoom back out. And let me see if I can grab, I don't know if I still have that glue. Let me look real quick because it's worth showing because it can be a little tricky getting those fine tips. Now, if you have a fine tip super glue gun, that would work too. Okay, I don't have it anymore. It's the Gorilla Glue or super glue that comes in the little bitty short squeeze nozzle container. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? A little fine tip. Because here's what it happens. In those big light fixtures, you're going to put real bulbs in them that get a little bit hot, right? And if you get them too warm, it will melt your hot glue. Okay, so the super glue works because I've done it on all of my big light fixtures that I've had to redo the sleeves on. Now, these little candle lamps that you're only putting like a 4-watt bulb in, or maybe like an LED bulb, then you're okay to use the super glue method. Or not super glue, but the hot glue method. Okay, so I'm going to stick with hot glue on this one, but if you're using real light bulbs that get a little bit of heat to them, then you want to use the super glue method. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're clear there, because otherwise your glue will start melting and you'll have some real drips and not the kind that you really want. You want your length of your drips to be varied. Okay, so I'm going to show you here in a second. Now I'm going to show you, you don't want to keep holding it upside down or sideways for very long because your glue is hot and it will start running in the direction that you're holding it. So if you're holding it sideways, your glue is going to start dripping sideways. So put a couple of drips on there and just hold it upright and let it dry. So do you see the different various sizes and the various lengths of my drips? That's going to make it look a little bit more real. Hey, Miss Debbie from Secondhand Treasures. How are you, friend? Hey, Miss Melody and Sherry. Okay, so just kind of let it cool for a second, and then you're good to go around for a couple more. You want some short ones, some skinny ones. It's a little bit easier to vary your size if you have a little fine tip on your glue, okay? Took a little bit long on those, so I'm going to let that kind of cool for a second. And then I'm going to show you the paint and the wax that I'm going to use to get that primitive effect on it. You can make, I mean, these lights can be kind of expensive if you buy them in a boutique, and a lot of times you can't find the right size that you want to add to whatever you want to. Like what I'm going to add this to, I would never be able to find a light that would fit down in my stoneware crock that looks right. So I'm going to make do with what I have. Okay, we're going to let that layer dry, and then we're going to go back over it with just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Hi, Miss Linda. How are you? Your daughter has hers thinned out. Oh, yes, I had to do that too. Yes. I've got so much hair. I really do. I have to thin it out. They're looking. There you go. They're thin. I'm leaving a little bit of space in between each drip. You can leave it like that, or you can add a little bit more. Okay? It's really, the intensity is up to you. On my big light fixture that I just showed you a second ago, I went a little sparse because that's the way they were to begin with. So I wanted to kind of keep the same look. Let me see if that'll stand up there. So see what I have done. Let me get a good one right here. This one might be a good example. So this is how those sleeves almost came from the factory. All I did was just go over the drips that were already there. Some of them had been peeled off when I bought this on Marketplace. So all I did was that fine tip super glue applicator and put those drips on there. And you can see how much thinner they are than your hot glue drips, okay? So it really depends on what kind of light you have or you're planning on putting in it. Depends on the fixture. If you're actually using a big fixture, you want to do a thinner super glue method. I think these are cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I don't know if I'm going to zoom back in. I'm going to go around the top circle of this. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to go around the top circle and I'm just going to run a bead of hot glue around the top of that circle. And I want to hold it back upright so that if it does drip, it's going to have the right, oh, there we go. It's going to have the right look to it. It's kind of got to add a little bit of layer on top of another layer on top of another layer. And I'm going to do it one more time. And this time, instead of going around the very, very tip top, what I'm going to do this time, let me grab my little pointer so I can show you a little bit better. This time, I'm going to run my bead of glue underneath that top circle, okay? Kind of marrying the two rows together. I'm going to run a bead of glue around there, okay? So here we go. I want to make sure I'm not blocking your view. So I'm going a little bit heavy with this. And if it doesn't look just right, guess what? You can put your hot glue tip back on there and it will remelt it. And you can add a little bit more to it. Ooh, had to get my little glue strand off there. So that's what I have right there. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Okay. Looks pretty rough right now, I know. I'm looking to see if I've closed up all of the little gaps. I thought I saw a little gap, but the longer it sits, that glue, I have a little tiny gap right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. A little gap in my glue right there. So I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm going to touch it just a little bit. Okay. All right. Now you want this to completely cool before you go to the next step. Okay. So let's get the glue strings out and let me zoom back out so I can see y'all. Where are we? Where are we? Come on, camera. Now, sometimes it will zoom and sometimes it won't. There we are. How's it still here? Okay. We got to let that cool. But while that's cooling, I can start from the bottom of my candle and work my way up. And this is what I'm going to do. I am going to use this antique white. And I forgot to bring, I did not bring a little container to put my paint in today over here. Do I have something that I can grab real quick? I don't. I got a lid over here. Let me grab that. This is a fairly new bottle, so I don't want to completely waste it. Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to shake the camera. Bumped into it. Got a little lid. I'm just going to pour some paint. Woohoo. Right there. I am using, excuse me, full strength paint. Woo, had to grab a drink. I am going to use full strength paint on this, okay? And to get the look that I want, I'm just going to use this real thin brush to go on. Now, these paper towel, well, they're not paper towel rolls, these little cardboard rolls here, that you can see where the cardboard has been wrapped and put together. If that bothers you, you might want to cover it with a layer of just like a brown paper bag or something. For what I'm using, this is not going to matter because most of this candle is going to be hidden down in that stoneware crock, except for like the top, I don't know, maybe 4 inches or so from the top, okay? But see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. You can see where the roll, it wraps, you know, has the creases where the paper towel or the cardboard is wrapped on itself. So if that bothers you, just give it a cover of some paper first, okay? Thicker paper would be better because you're putting paint on it, and the paint or the paper will wrinkle if you know, you get it too wet. Another good idea would be to cover these in tea bags. That would probably give you a cool texture. Okay, I'm just using this paintbrush and I'm getting up in those little grooves of where those little drips are. Do you see those? Just use a brush and get in all of those little crevices. Okay, and if you have any streaks, some of that dark is going to show through, and I'm okay with that because that's actually a little bit of the undercolor that I want to kind of peek through. We're actually going to be adding a little bit of dark wax to it here in just a little bit. So if some of the dark colors show through, I'm fine with that. You want to go with a dry brush look. I will say that the paint doesn't want to stick quite as well to the hot glue drips. So you might have to give it a second coat to make sure that those hot glue drips cover really well, okay? Now, I'm not going to worry about that today, but if you know, when you're doing yours, don't be surprised if you're seeing a little bit of streaking and you want to get that glue covered really well. So that's what we have right there. Doesn't that looks like one of those Christmas window candles, right? Some of those plastic, you know, candles that you put in your windows for Christmas. Okay, I do need this to dry, and I didn't think about that. So we're going to let this air dry while we talk for a minute. Let me get something to fan this with. That'll speed it up, right? Let me see who's here. Hey, Miss Lisa. Hello, Miss Barb, Norma. We're going to fan it and dry it. It won't take very long. It won't take very long at all. My comments have stopped. It's telling me y'all are, oh, there we go. I swiped left and swiped back. Thank you, Miss Brenda. It's going to look really cute once we get the coloring added to it, the whole effect. It's a little bit of a process. But, you know, to get the vintage primitive look, you got to do that, right? Hey, Miss Cat. I know. Wave it around like a lightsaber. Zoom, zoom, zoom. My boys had lightsabers, like the light up lightsaber swords. Oh, goodness. Those were the days. And they would put them under their beds. You know, that's where they were so big, you know, you didn't have a place to put them. Like they wouldn't fit in a toy box or, you know, anywhere else. So they would slide them under their bed. And so whenever, you know, you'd go and throw stuff under your bed, the lightsabers would go off and they make these crazy like zinging noises. Or when the batteries would go low at night, like they're in the bed and the battery, you know, when toys, the batteries start going low, they start going berserk. Well, in the middle of the night, lightsabers would start making crazy noises and zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We had lightsaber days here, too. Trust the process, Jamie. That's right. That is right. Okay, let's see. It's not. That cardboard soaks up the paint pretty quick, too. Hey, Miss Dana. My camera thing's going off. Thank you, Cammie, for sprinkling us out. I appreciate you. I'm getting notifications on my phone. It's like bzz, 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 buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. That was I know, Jamie. Isn't that crazy? I think my boys saved most of their lightsabers. They had each color. Now, I will say that I got a few glue strings that I did not get off. Can I get those off without making I am gonna see if I can't get those glue strings pulled off there. Yep, got that one. Now I've got some funky, let me use a dry. Can I smooth those weird lines out now? Yeah. My fan above me is helping too. Oh, Tammy, yes, you should be getting your pierce pretty soon. I will tell you, the mail is getting slower and slower. Did you order the second batch, like the surplus, the extras that I had? I looked at those and I think, gosh, I looked at those and most of those I think were supposed to be delivered today and tomorrow, maybe. I can't remember. Hopefully so. Hey, Miss Krista, we're just letting this cardboard candlestick dry. I forgot my dryer. Hey, Miss Margaret. Although I wouldn't be able to add too much heat to my hot glue anyway, because it would melt. All right. It's still a little tacky. Let's go grab the heat tool. Gosh dog it. We'll just plug it in back here. Y'all can still hear me, right? Let me plug it in back here and we'll dry it real quick. My cord on this is not quite long enough. I need to get a longer power strip that reaches to my sewing table. I've been doing a little bit more crafting at my sewing table than I have been my actual craft table. All right. Just want to make sure that it's dry because the next step we will be adding some darker, oof, still a little wet right there, a little bit of wax and distress ink. And if we don't get it good and dry, oof, it will not be good. Not be good. All right, I think we're good. Good enough to start at the bottom. I'm going to trip over my light fixture that I was showing y'all. I laid it in the middle of the floor. Okay, what we're going to do next, we're going to take a dark wax. You can use probably any dark wax you have, but it needs to be more waxy than it does liquidy, because I will say, like the Waverly dark wax, it's almost like a paint to me, I feel like. So we're going to use this dark wax that I have. It's Howard's dark wax. And I just already have a brush, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, anything. You could use an old towel, an old rag, anything you got, really. And I'm going to rub it on, okay? It's going to look really sketchy. It's going to look really sketchy, but I want you to hang with me, okay? We're going to cover it. We're going to rub this dark wax all over the white. Do you see what it's doing? It's like, this would be the time you're like in panic mode, okay? Especially if you're doing this on your light fixture candle sleeves, like I was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm ruining these. I'm going to have to end up buying the really expensive ones. No, they turned out okay. So you just got to trust the process. Now I'm going to take this brush and I'm really going to rub up there in those grooves where the candle wax, the faux wax strips are, okay? Now once again, remember what I said, do you see my cardboard tubing, that the lines on my cardboard tubing? If you are using this in a way that those are going to show, you might want to cover this in a solid wrap of heavy duty paper before you do this, okay? That'll hide your lines. I'm not worried about it on mine because I'm going to show you how I'm going to do mine here in just a little bit. I'm forgetting everything under the sun today. I don't even know what I was thinking. Forgot my paper towel, so I'm just going to use this piece of fabric I have here. Now, you're going to take a rag and you're going to basically buff that wax in, okay? You're just going to rub it down to where the tackiness is disappeared for you, okay? Now, it's going to stick in places. The color's going to stick in places, and that's what you want, okay? You just don't want to see heavy clumps of the dark color, okay? Up around the wax strips is where we're going to leave those dark colors in the crevices between those wax strips, okay? See where I'm going? I'm taking my rag and I'm just kind of rubbing down in between, and you can see how that's looking already, right? Now, I will say the inside of my tube, I did paint that like a dark brown, black color, because to me, that looks better than seeing a cardboard inside, okay? See, that just looks more finished, okay? You can look at that and, you don't automatically think cardboard, whereas if you look at the other, you're like, oh, that's cardboard. Hey, Miss Cecile. Hey, Brenda, Angela, how are y'all? All right. And you can leave it just like that. I think that was my last step that I did on those. That's exactly how I finished them. Now, you can add more dark wax if you want a little bit more dark color. I think the only other thing that I did do is I used my distressed inks and added just a little bit more, my container of dark wax, it never wants to close right. I think it's all wonky on me. Okay, I'm putting my wax brush in a little Ziploc baggie, and I just roll it up, get the air out of it, and then I'm ready to go the next time I'm ready to use it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to pull out my distress ink, and we can add a little bit of a warmer color tones to certain areas if we want. Okay, I'm going to start, what did I say? I think, is it Gathered Twigs, I think, is the color tone that I like. We'll try it. This is, you all know these little ink pads that I've used before. They're Distress ink. They're Tim Holtz Ranger makes them. Tim Holtz is the designer of these Distress inks, and they come in lots of different colors. I have several different brownish tones. This one is called Gathered Twigs. I'm going to use like a makeup brush, and I just like to rub it on my brush, and then you're just going to kind of rub it in spots and see what it looks like. Now, once again, mine is not going to be visible, but except for probably like the top 4 inches or so, okay? So I'm just going to take this, and you're not going to be able to see this on camera. You're not going to be able to see the color. It's just that subtle, okay? So if you're doing this on a light fixture or lights that are really not that close to the eye, you might kind of skip this step. This one's going to be closer. This one's going to be on the tabletop where people can see it a little bit better. So I want that little extra layer of color on it. And this also has a little bit of that golden brown color that's also going to tie in with those orange colors of the bittersweet, the faux bittersweet picks that I have added to that stoneware crock, and the orange that is also on the little bunting banner. I'm fixing to pull that up closer here for us here in just a minute and show you up close what that's going to look like. And I think this will help kind of pull those color tones all together. This grips onto these little wax, these faux wax notes. Look at that. That looks so good. I love it. I love it. Now, I'm done with that. I am done with that. So let me add this back to my little tray. And the next step, we're good. We got 9 minutes. Okay, so let's pull the light together here. Now this is where it can get a little tricky on you, okay? I buy these, you can buy these on Amazon. You know what these are. These are like little light cords that you get to put in like your Christmas village houses and things like that. You like this set in the case? On Amazon, Terry, that's where I found that little case for those little inks. Those are little mini ink pads, okay? They also have cases for the larger ink pads too. So you can use either one. Now, this one had the little squeezers, okay? The little metal squeeze tabs on the sides, and this is what hooks them inside the little houses, right? I cut that off. And I've got to push this up through my tube, which to do this, you need a skewer, a long skewer stick to kind of help get it where you need it, okay? And then once you get it to a certain point, I can almost push, yeah, see? I pushed it right up there to the top of that. Is that not perfect, right? And then you're good. So I need to probably cut a little notch out down here at the bottom. And wouldn't you know, I forgot my scissors. That's okay. We're going to improvise. I could cut a little notch out at the bottom if I needed to. I pulled out my, I pulled out the little flowers. And I touched the hot glue. Disaster. We're turning into a disaster here. All right. So I want this down in, come on, cord, work with me here. I want this down in my stoneware crock. Now, ideally, I would probably need to have like a piece of floral foam or something to kind of nestle this down into. But for now, we're going to pretend it has floral foam there. Now, I have a little light bulb. Where is it? These little silicone bulbs. Aren't they the sweetest? I love these. I love them. I love them. I love them. Now, the only thing that I want to caution you about is if you are using bulbs that get warm, what you might want to do is wrap this in some aluminum foil, like a band of aluminum foil around the bottom part, the bottom half of your socket, okay? And nestle that down in your tubing, okay? And that will help keep it centered inside your tube so that it doesn't lean over. You do not want your light bulb to touch your cardboard tubing, okay? So wrap that light socket in what am I trying to say? Aluminum foil. I'm trying to look for something that I can nestle around that to hold it in place because I do not have my floral foam in there. I need to get some and I just don't have it. So there we go. I can pull that up. Now, here's the other dilemma. From the back, your cord is going to come out the back, but if you make one of these sweet little bunting banners, all you're going to have to do is untie it, and you're going to tie that on top of the cord, and that will hold it in place. And then if you use your florals to disguise that cord, or you could make a cord sleeve. That's another idea. Make a little cord sleeve out of coordinating fabric. You could do that. Okay. You do not want to drill a hole into your stoneware. That will ruin the integrity of your stoneware. Okay. So just fix your florals so that it kind of hugs around your candle, and that's what you got. That's what you got. I would plug it in. I'm not close to an extension cord. I'm going to cut this little light off, or this little tag off though. There we go. Cut this one off too. Oof, I just need to get it off right there. Well, foozle. Okay. And then you're ready to plug that in. Ta-da! You could use the battery timer candles. Yes, you could. But now I will tell you, they're not going to give you the same look. I'm just telling you, there is a difference between a regular light bulb and those battery operated ones. Just saying. Just saying. So plug that in. I'll take a picture of it lit up if I can, or a little video. But so I think this will nestle so cute, and that ties in the colors. I feel like it might be a little tall, so I might kind of scooch it down just a little bit, just so that it's not quite as tall. But you can paint it to match the color of your stoneware crock. You're going to change out your floors throughout the season, but I think that's a sweet little touch. What do y'all think? You like it? Let's see. Do I have a video for the banner? Yes, Denise. Last Friday, there's a video from last Friday. It's on Facebook and on YouTube if you want to look for it. I showed you how to make these. Really, you just have 3 color coordinating fabrics, okay? You're going to cut 3 sizes, different sizes of your circles. I did a 6-inch, a 5-inch, and a 3.5 inch, I believe, circles. And I did 4 sets of these, okay? 4 sets of 3. And they go, and I kind of, you know, see how I've kind of mismatched them a little bit, just so that they're not all the same. Then I coffee grunched that and baked it, and that gives you that time-worn vintage look that makes it look like it's been there for a long time. You kind of, my alarm's going off. You kind of get those little black, crispy little specks to it, and it makes it look worn and tattered. I love that. So that's it. Thank you, Miss Cynthia. Thank you so much. Glad y'all liked it. How about that for some quick afternoon crafting? Where did I get the bittersweet branches? I do not remember where I've grabbed these. It's been so long. I would start, I feel like it may have been one of the sellers we had in one of our vintage and thrifted market days at one time, but honestly, I do not remember. I would just Google or go to Amazon first and see if you can search up faux bittersweet picks. Okay. That's where I would start. And I've used 5 of them in this crock, and I probably honestly could probably use 2 more, really. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you. I got 5 inches cut off my hair, Kalia. Can you believe that? 5 inches, and it's still that long. My hair was longer than probably even realized, because it stays up all the time. It's so hot, and I'm constantly doing things outside. So I just whacked it off. What is the cardboard tube from? It's from aluminum foil. Like if when you're finished with your aluminum foil, save the cardboard rolls. Some of them are from probably like plastic wrap or press and seal, aluminum foil. What else has those? Parchment paper, wax paper, all of those kinds of things that come in like on the cardboard tubes. That's what I use these for. Look, this one, yeah, it does have the lines on it too. Some of them will have glue on it, but if you just rub your hand across that glue, most of the time that glue will just clean right off. All right, you guys. Tomorrow is paint sticks and Jenga blocks in the Craft on the Clock group. I hope y'all enjoy the day. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you again soon.